Hi, I'm a person you've probably never seen before holding a random object as though it were a microphone because it's quirky and unique, and also I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm asking a sort of vague but also kind of smart sounding question that includes the words nuance, society, and insert adjective culture. I'm 20 years old, this is my only form of employment, and yes, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. No, but seriously, this video is brought to you by Squarespace. Thank you, Squarespace. Now, let's talk about some stuff that I took a total of 30 minutes to Google. Disclaimer for the rest of this video, I may or may not use the term video essayist, commentary, and drama channels kind of interchangeably. I know they're not exactly the same things, but they kind of are, so I'm just gonna do it, and if I make that mistake, leave me alone, alright? I don't want to hear about, well, technically it's not the same thing, this is the only thing I have in my life. I don't want to hear it. You can write it in the comment section, I'm not gonna read it. Now, it may be most appropriate to start this video by explaining, well, what is an essay in the first place? And if this were some ordinary video essay, I might start by giving you a boring definition from Webster's or Wikipedia. No, I'm different. And so instead, we will be taking a definition from a random PDF brought to you by the University of Evansville. Why not? It says an essay is a piece of writing that is written to convince someone of something or simply to inform the reader about a particular topic. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that the definition of pretty much all written text ever? As far as I can tell, yeah. But that's the thing. Essays don't really have a hard and formal definition. They can kind of be anything if you justify it enough. They can cover a large array of writing styles and formats and ideas. For our purposes, let's make it something that we can all relate to. 5-paragraph essays that we used to write in school. Imagine it's like those. You remember all those assignments you used to get in English class where you had to spend 3 pages answering a question that could have been done in 3 sentences and just a little bit of common sense? So it's like that, but stretched out over 30 minutes with a titillating subject matter, such as the upsetting backstory of Cats the Musical, or Pants. What's up with those? They all have at their core an introduction, both explaining what the video is about, but also giving you a window into the kind of style that their videos have. Body paragraphs making an argument, explaining their viewpoint, or giving backstory to a situation. And they all usually have some sort of resolution, summary, call to action, high-five freeze frame moment at the end, just kind of wraps it all up. And again, like a literal essay, that is a very vague definition because again, video essays can essentially be anything you want them to be. Whether you're sitting down looking at one camera the entire time, whether it's an elaborate display full of costumes and scene changes and transitions, or whether it's like whatever this is, where I just make one script and then cut it up into different sections of my house so it feels more dynamic. And it can be about literally anything, ranging from academia to comic books to politics to trending topics, instruments, sports, race, movies from the mid-2000s, anything your mind can dream of. There's so much to be found in the wonderful world of video essays. You said it. Join us, it's fun. Whoa! Okay, so we know what it is. What's the problem? The 5-paragraph essay model is only the surface of what makes a video essay. If you really want to get deeper into the art, you have to consider the 3 dimensions: length, width, and depth. And by width, I actually mean topic choice. They don't relate at all. I just really wanted to keep with the whole 3 dimensions theme. I thought it was really clever when I was writing this, but it doesn't really work out unless I explain this bit, so I'm just gonna cut myself off and then we're gonna get into the rest of the part. I'm very grateful I don't get this problem in my feed, but there is definitely a problem of people who make videos long for the sake of being long videos. 40 unedited minutes of an incoherent speech that you made impromptu in your car. And yet it still gets views? How? There's something about filibustering during a video that somehow makes it more enticing. It just feels more authoritative. I don't know how to explain it. You just assume that there's more information in here. It's the difference between looking at a thin textbook and a thick textbook. Am I actually gonna read either one of them? Absolutely not. But I'd like to know that if I had to pick one and I picked the thicker one, it has more things in it, so I would know more. To clarify, I'm not going to read it, but I'd like to know that I could, and I would be smarter. No, instead I will be learning the subject by watching YouTube videos that were all recorded in 2007 for some reason, and no additions have been made since. Side note, if you're a STEM major, you know the feeling of starting out your initial classes and all of the YouTube videos about the subject are like animated and professionally voiced over. There's a crash course class on it. Wow! But then as you get further in your studies, you get less of those videos and all that's left is just random dudes in their basement with nothing but a chalkboard recording on a toaster made 14 years ago with 7 views total. And you can't help but think to yourself, 1, I'm not passing this test, but also 2, Wow, I've come a long way, haven't I? But yeah, the book thing. I'd like to think that if I was going to read it, again, I'm not, but if I did, there would be more information in it. It's longer, so it has to be smarter and better. Of course it does. That's how numbers work. Secondly, I've come to appreciate that most people, once they're like 5 minutes into a video, they don't really care if it's great anymore. Like, they're probably not gonna click off. They're already invested. They may as well stay. As long as it doesn't get severely worse, they'll probably keep watching. Like, most people leave a video within the first 30 seconds. Once you've got to the 5-minute mark, you may as well just stick it out at that point. It's kind of what I imagine love to be. Like, in the beginning, you had to wow me, but like now, we're already so deep into this, just don't be terrible and I'll stay. There's something really satisfying about being able to watch one 90-minute video as opposed to 10 9-minute videos, because you don't have to go through like the normal format things 10 times in a row. Like, I don't have to sit through 10 intros and 10 outros and get used to 10 different personalities and sit through 10 ad reads. I can just stick to one and be committed to that person for the next hour and a half of my life. Like, it's one continuous narrative. I get to see how they develop it from start to finish, no interruptions, no multiple ad breaks. It works. Plus, the more you do this, and this isn't necessarily a good thing, but the more you're able to stick with just one person in your allotted time, the more of a parasocial relationship you can grow with them. Is that good? Probably not. Is it good for me? Kind of, yeah. It's like the more time we spend just talking to one another as opposed to you seeing me and then seeing somebody else and then seeing somebody else within that same period of time, we feel as though we're closer. Do we know each other? No. But we can pretend that we do. So I don't mind videos that can be like the length of an entire workday. Have you seen Quentin reviews videos? My lord. I'm not mad at videos that are long with a purpose. Just have a purpose, all right? Don't record an hour and 20 minutes worth of just talking in a car because you don't want to write things down. You just want it to be unscripted because you're so real like that. You don't need a script. Yes, you do. Please use one. At least an outline, man. We need to try to hop on trends and trending topics as quickly as possible because that is the best way of getting traction with the algorithm. For example, my first video to ever find any sort of success is definitely my old AI video about when ChatGPT first dropped. I remember seeing what ChatGPT was for the first time thinking, oh, this is gold. And so I immediately started working on the video, writing, filming, editing. The whole time I was like, yeah, this is it. This is the one. This is gonna do it. And at the time, it probably got like 2,000 views max, which is not that much, but at the time I was ecstatic because I think I was only averaging like 150 views total on videos that I would spend weeks on. So seeing that, what's that, like a 2,000%? I'm an engineering major, I should know this number. 150. That is a 1,300% increase. I did that all by myself. We're gonna cut that together better. That's a 1,300% increase. That's insane. I did that all by myself. And so it taught me that you need to do trending topics. Do what the people are already talking about, and then maybe they'll pay attention to you, maybe. And so it sucks, but if you wanna call this thing an art, you can't fully be artists with it, because in some way, shape, or form, you're always going to be bound by an algorithm or a trending topic or monetization or a sponsor deadline. This is part of the medium. These are the boundaries that unfortunately you have to work within. And this is the part where I can easily say, oh no, but money is evil. I make art for art. I don't want income. I do. I want to be able to live off this. I'm sorry, is that a crime? Every art form, every medium has its limitations. And when it comes to whatever this is, monetization, algorithms, and sponsorship deadlines are your limitations. And so with that being said, now would probably be the most optimal time to... Sometimes a simple reflection brings it back to where it all begun. Square One. Brought to you by Squarespace. Hello, and welcome back to Square One, the advice show where we keep things simple by getting back to the basics. This week's question, a short but good one, we asked audiences, what wrong with you? Bit of a spelling error there, but no matter. We had a write-in from a man named Eli. He said, this just says everything. He just wrote everything. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Just transition into the thing. I don't know what to do with this, man. What does this mean? Well, Eli, that sounds rough. You know what might make you feel better? A brand new website. Am I right, people? Because with Squarespace, designing a website is a breeze. Don't have an eye for web design? Most of us don't. Which makes Squarespace's professionally designed website templates to die for. Drag and drop design features that make editing templates a dream. You'll be sure to love your brand new site. And before you go live, be sure to try out Squarespace's email campaign tools. Everything you'll need to engage clients, promote your services, and grow your business. So don't just sit there. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, be sure to use squarespace.com/DavidandChew to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. And let's hope it's not too long until we see you back at square one. And as for you, Eli, I hope you get that everything figured out, man. That sounds rough. Now, am I saying that you can only do the trending topics and what everybody is talking about? No, of course not. That's boring. Because sometimes you will wake up with the most random and most niche ideas that only you will care about, but sometimes it's just so good you have to do it anyway. Like, for example, the hearing loss video that I made it not because I saw somebody else do it and it went really well, or because all of a sudden people were really concerned about ear health. It's because one day I got a notification saying, hey, turn your music down, and I was like, huh. And then 3 to 4 weeks later, it was finished and uploaded, and now it has nearly 1 million views, which is crazy. That's crazy. A stupid idea that I thought only I would genuinely be interested in. I was able to create it in a way that drew nearly 1 million people to like it. And I love reading the comments under that video because it's a bunch of people saying, oh, I turned the video down to a lesser volume as I kept watching, and oh my gosh, I can't believe you made me care about something like this. That's awesome. I love that. And so those days where I wake up with such a stupid but also kind of very interesting idea, those days are fun, especially when that video performs well. But not every day is one of those days. I'm sorry, I don't always hit. Some days I'm not particularly inspired by anything, and so I still have to make a video, so I just go in the notes app on my phone with like 50 video ideas just in case that happens. I can't help but feel like I'm too lazy when it comes to these videos. Like, I constantly feel that I am both not working hard enough, but also working too much on these, and I'm never happy about it. On the one hand, I'll be researching something way too in depth, and I realize that, but I'm like, nah, I just need to get to the bottom of this, and I can't help but think, man, somebody else doing this, they'd be able to do it way faster than me. I'm so inefficient. I'm so bad at this. Then if I do the exact opposite thing, I'll also get mad at myself. Man, this research is so basic and so surface level. I'm sure that somebody else could be able to make a much better video on it. It could be much more in depth. It could have much better jokes. They should just take my job. I'll give them my channel password. I suck at this. Case in point, for my sleep video, I spent an unreasonable amount of time trying to explain the simplest thing. I knew that it was a very simple concept, but like, no, that's not true. It's not that it was simple. It was that when you're researching, you kind of get into this thing where you don't want to completely just steal the quote from an article. You want to understand what the quote means so you can apply it to something else, but that's a really hard thing to do if you don't like have a deep understanding of the subject. So, for example, imagine I'm an alien and I read a paper that said, the Earth's sky is blue. Cool. Now, for this convoluted example, let's imagine that I'm writing a paper explaining why Earth is the perfect vacation spot, and I'm saying that the Earth's sky is always blue. Well, technically, the article didn't say that it was always blue, it just said that it is blue. That implies that it's always blue, but is that true? So then me, the alien in this illustration, I'm Googling on whatever the alien equivalent of Google is, and then I look into it again and I realize, well, technically the sky can be orange during sunset, but for the most part it is blue. But then again, alien me, I'm going back and saying, yes, so the Earth's sky can be orange or blue. Well, true, but that implies that it's either orange or blue all the time, like there's no spectrum in between. And also, what does that say about how frequently it is orange and how frequently it is blue? So then I again go to the alien Google equivalent and I look into it a little bit more, and it turns out that it can be a bit of a spectrum of colors in the sky because of how like light rays work in our atmosphere, but for the most part you can say that it's mostly blue and that it can kind of have like an orange pinkish hue during sunlight hours. Then again, me, alien, Earth vacation spot, great. I'm saying that most of the time it's blue, but also can have hues of pink and orange, and also, well, yellow might be in there. What? Okay, now I gotta go back to the research. And then 5 hours later, me as an alien, I'm just gonna end up saying whatever the first article said. The sky is blue. Could have said that in the beginning, Should have said that in the beginning, but now it is 11 p.m. and I'm tired. Please tell me that was a good explanation. I don't know how else to describe it. It happens every time I'm writing a script. So like with the sleep video thing, right? I'd read a paragraph explaining how sleep works, and then I try and rewrite that paragraph to help my argument. But then, like, technically the way I rewrote it isn't exactly accurate, so I need to read like 5 other articles to confirm that what I think is true is actually what's happening. And in the end, it ends up being a 4-minute part of a 29-minute video. I didn't need to spend all that much time on that. It's a constant struggle of I'm not doing enough, and also I'm doing way too much. I suck at this job. I'm going to quit. I'm not actually gonna quit, but I think thinking that I'm gonna quit is a good motivator to do better on videos. It's not a great cycle, but here we are. I often find myself annoyed with all informational videos in general, but specifically video essays talking about a broad concept, because they get so surface level. You know, it's not even totally their fault. It's like you start an idea thinking, wow, I'm gonna talk about the wacky world of paper straws. Whoa! But then as you write it, it's like, it's not as in-depth and interesting as you thought it would be, but you have spent 2 weeks on this. I'm not stopping. But that's for unique ideas. What about ideas that are based on things that are trending and topical and literally everybody's making a video about this? It's just a regurgitation of the same information, just in like slightly different fonts. It goes the same way every single time. Somebody has a dumb take or does something dumb on TikTok, and then we all look at it and we go, wow, that's dumb. And then from there, the TikTok reactors make videos about it. And then from there, the TikTok sketch creators make sketches about it. And then from there, it imports to YouTube, where all the reaction, commentary, and video essay people start to see it. And then they're basing their opinions primarily on what people have already said. I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, but once you've seen a video with 70 different takes on it, like, those opinions are going to color your opinions. And so it just ends up being like 100 people more or less saying the same thing and having the same reaction. They can do it in their own specific way, and I still can find enjoyment in it from time to time, but sometimes it just gets so formulaic. It just goes to show that no matter what we try to do or try to tell ourselves, oftentimes this format is not primarily meant to be educational. Look, I'm sorry. I know that you used a quote from Aristotle to open your video, but it's not, this isn't for learning, really. I don't think that's a bad thing. I want to be entertained. You want to be entertained. That's why we watch them. We're not totally paying attention to this. For most people watching video essays, most of them really aren't paying attention that much. Case in point, don't rewind. What was I talking about 2 minutes ago? Wow. The format of video essays is shaped by the simple fact that there are so many of them. Like, we have to find out what the norms are that we have to adapt, but we also have to find out ways that we can stand out from the crowd. And one of the ways you can try and do that is to kind of take yourself a little bit more seriously. This isn't just for fun times, we're here to learn. I quoted Aristotle earlier. I report facts on camera. I'm a reporter. No, you're a pudgy high school student recording subpar essays in your basement. I know this because I was you. You are me. We're the same person. Sometimes you're writing the script for a video and you can't help but think to yourself, wow, this is so in-depth. I'm so freaking smart. I'm reading peer-reviewed studies. I have pages of notes. I've watched a bunch of other videos of people in the same subject and they're all idiots. I know exactly why each one of them sucks. I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna stand out. Everyone's gonna look at me and think, wow, this is the best video essay I've ever seen on the topic of Beanie Babies in the 2008 housing crisis. But then, like, between all the rewriting and mistakes during filming and laziness during editing, by the time you get to the final product, it is so much more generic than you thought it would be. I assure, like, every time I'm making a video, this is exactly how it goes for me. The current rate of progression on AI technologies and its prevalence is revealing how many feel about the role of art in society. Its value is not simply in its existence, but in everything that led up to the moment of its creation. Yeah, that's perfect. That's a great line. I'm not gonna say all that. The way AI art is developing is showing that many people don't value the real work and passion of real artists. No, we're gonna cut that up a little bit. At this rate, AI is showing that people don't care about actual art. Sure. AI art is bad. That's not what I said. I agree with that. When it comes to the vibe of a video, how it feels, the atmosphere, I think it really depends a lot on the attitude of the person making it and also the subject matter. In general, I don't like making videos where I'm bashing an individual. I like to make videos about institutions and concepts because one, concepts can't sue me for defamation, but also I don't think it's very nice or necessary to make entire critiques of one person based on one thing they did. Now, do I on occasion look at videos of dumb people doing dumb things on the internet and laugh to myself? Sure, who doesn't? That's very normal. Now, do I then go out of my way to make a full-on assessment of that person based on a 30-second video that I will then share to an audience of possibly millions of people? No, partially because I don't yet have an audience of millions of people, but we're working on that. But also because why would I do that? There is a non-zero chance that one day somebody will meet me in person or they'll hear something about me and then they'll try and make an expose or whatever and they'll try and turn people against me or something like that. I don't know. And let's clarify, I'm not talking about like crimes or abuse or anything like that. That's insane. I'm talking about like, oh, I met him at the mall and he didn't say hi back to me. I didn't like that. Like that type of thing. I am not a danger to society. I promise you, you're safe. I just mean that if I'm being reasonable, there are scenarios in life from even years ago or maybe even just a few weeks ago where I can look back and be like, yeah, I was kind of a jerk there. Was it like insanely bad? No, but if that person told that story one-sidedly to an audience of millions of people, would I look bad? Yeah, probably. But does that mean that at my core, I am a bad person and I'm no longer deserving of being able to make an income on the internet? I would like to think that it doesn't. And that is exactly what I try and keep in mind when considering whether or not to make a video topic based on an individual. I don't know them. And it's one thing to watch a video about them privately and go, haha, what a dum-dum. It's another thing to make a 20-minute expose on that person. That is wild to me. I'm not saying that no one should be criticized online and that, yeah, we all make mistakes. So what if he's not allowed within 200 feet of an elementary school? No. That is not the moral of this story. I just feel that in the commentary and video essay community, it is very easy to tear down a person limb from limb for doing something that isn't illegal or dangerous. It's just maybe a little bit socially taboo, but we can move on, but we won't, but we could. It's a mostly normal person having a bad day or just like didn't think things 100% through. And then from that 20-second clip, it will be immortalized forever. And they now have to explain that to their boss and coworkers. Sometimes I do think it's warranted, but again, I think that privately at home and don't add to the stockpile of criticism. I feel like what's already out there is more than enough. It's not that bad. It's fine. Leave them alone. The creator sets the standard for the audience that they cultivate. If your whole thing is making videos talking about how everyone is dumb and the internet is stupid and anytime somebody makes a mistake, we should key their cars and make them suffer some sort of identity fraud, then when you inevitably do something dumb and somebody was just so happening to record it, or they were somebody with an audience, or they just so happened to make a video that somehow got picked up, if any of those things happen, what's gonna happen to you? Because you have spent months and years developing a personality of I just tell it how it is and judging people all the time with no sort of mercy or some sort of benefit of the doubt. If that's who you were, the people you drew, your audience, they are the exact same way. So when it happens to you, they will never let you live it down. You will be destroyed by the very thing you created. It's poetic and sometimes it can be very satisfying. I won't lie, I've seen it happen a few times. But again, did I make a 20-minute video talking about the downfall of XYZ? No! I laughed about it privately at home and it stayed there. And that is exactly why I am hesitant to treat individuals exactly like that. Because I don't want that to be me. One thing that's for sure is that the video essay is never about cold, hard answers. Because if you just wanted the answer, you would have Googled it. Like, if you really wanted to know pants, what's up with that, I'm sure there is some sort of Google article about it. They're more about the journey of getting the answer, and along the way to the answer to that one question, you may gather even more questions. Is it an annoying flaw, or is it an endearing feature? Who's to say? See, that's an open-ended question with no real answer. I just did it again. It's very easy to do in this format. So we're asking questions, we're having discussions. Half my job is to trick you into getting sucked into an educational discussion. I do it all the time. It's almost like I'm sneaking a lesson in your mind. Like, we start dumb, and then we end dumb, but there's also like a little sprinkling of facts in the middle there. Like, if you really think about it, that's what happens every time. The emoji video was just a video about language over time. The Vine Boom video was just a video about humor over time, and the I hate self-help videos was really just a self-help video. I lied to you, I'm sorry. I think that's part of the fun. I think it's nice to think that we've shared a laugh and a lesson within 20 to 30 minutes, and we all had a good time. It's very nice to know that Again, a dumb idea I had on a random Tuesday afternoon and was able to dedicate 3 or 4 weeks of work on. I uploaded it, and then somehow it had an impact on somebody sitting halfway across the world. No matter how dumb or inconsequential that impact was, to think that I got somebody to turn their volume down or go to sleep a little bit earlier than they were planning to is a nice thought. With that being said, let me tell you something. If you ever inform me that any of your teachers played my videos in one of your classrooms, I will cry tears of joy. If your high school teacher plays it for the class and you record it and then you send me that recording, I will cry on camera. They may not be real tears because I don't know if I could cause myself to cry on command, but I'll make it happen. I know this has the cadence of a joke, but there are very few times I've been this serious in my entire life. So funny thing, I actually wrote that a while ago, but recently my younger cousin told me that one of her teachers played my video in her class. If I remember, I'm pretty sure it was a social media video. She texted me about it and it made my day. She also informed me that she tried to explain that we were cousins to everyone and they didn't believe her. She wasn't lying.